my goal for this training is for you to uncover your personal blocks to money, to clear those blocks. I want you to find out what they are, and I want you to clear those blocks, and I want you to claim your life of joy and prosperity and fun, to make more money, to live debt-free, fix your business, and maybe even have better sex. Believe me, that's a thing in this business. Okay, so there are two big things that are stopping you from having what you want, the life that you want, and the money that you deserve. And the first big issue that's in your way is that you've been lied to. And you're living those lies unconsciously. There are things that are happening in your life that you are reacting to over and over and over again in the same way. And you're getting the same results because you're living those lies. And those lies are destroying your happiness. Well, who's lying to you? And you know what? A lot of times the lies aren't coming to you from people who are intentionally trying to screw up your life. They're just passing along the lies that they learn. You know, this beautiful person is an artist, and society lied to her. As an artist, we've all heard the, you know, starving artist, artists don't make money until they're dead. We've all heard that nonsense, which is completely untrue. And she was living that life. Well, she learned how to uncover what her blocks to money and success were. And within one sale, she went through a process similar to what we're going to do. Within one sale, 36 hours later, she made one sale that was the largest sale she'd ever made in her life. She made more money in that sale than she had the entire previous year. You can find on my YouTube channel, you can find her saying it in her own words. The media and marketers lie to you. I'm so frustrated with, as I said, all these one-shot wonders that are out there. You know, the latest one is the AI stuff. Sure, it may have some value in some situations, but you know what? If you don't need a screwdriver to complete a task, you don't need to buy a screwdriver. Well, the same is true with all these one-shot wonders that people are trying to get you to buy. Stop and think, do I really need that? Well, this is Ryan. The media and marketers were lying to him, and he was, you know, buying all of these one-shot wonders. He stopped doing that. He learned to uncover his blocks to success. He speaks about this publicly, so I'm not divulging anything that's secret. He does a TED Talk on it. He was also thinking about moving on from the planet. And he learned to pull those weeds. He started a new brick and mortar business. He moved from one state to another. He doubled his prices all at the same time. He increased his sale, doubled his prices, and also raised his sale rate by 30%. And he decided to celebrate by doing this really cool thing and renting a private island with a private chef in Belize. That's what happens when you pull the weeds. And one last example, this is Nadia, because we lie to ourselves. We all lie to ourselves. We've been hurt, we've been broken, we've been told things that are not true, and we tell ourselves lies. Nadia and I were working together. She'd gone 18 months with no revenue. Literally, her business made no money for 18 months. And I said to her, she was the very first woman that I came out of the closet with and said, okay, I think you're blocking money. Let's shift your energy. Let's shift your frequency, find out what it is, and stop this. So we did some work together. We met on a Friday, and we discovered that she had lied to herself. She came from a wealthy family, and she said, I don't deserve wealth. I don't deserve money because I've never done anything to get it. We cleared that belief. We cleared the frequency of that belief. Within 8 days after that, she made $298 million. She's also on my YouTube channel talking about this in her own words. And within a year, she went from $0 to $602 million. So ditching the lies is the biggest challenge that you have. And you know what? When you get I want to tell you all, I will cut you off. I love you so much that I will cut you off, and I do mean that. And I know that a couple of people, Tracy and Joan, can say, Deborah will cut you off. I'm not doing it to be rude, but here's the thing. If I let you get into story, you're recreating whatever has happened to you and you're bringing it forward into your current experience, like it's brand new. So if there was some sort of trauma or something, you're creating it like it's brand new. I don't want you doing that. So if you get into story, just know I will cut you off, but it's because I love you. All right? Is that a deal?
Got it.
Okay.
Deal.
So tell us, James, tell us a little bit about your money situation, just so we have kind of a sense. You don't need to tell me like all of the details.
Currently, I am underwater as far as mortgage, credit card bills, and personal loans.
Okay. All right. So so one of the things that I will do is I will tune into your body so I can feel what's going on with you.
Okay.
But I want you to tune into your body too and tell me, what are you feeling when you talk about that?
Anxiety, fear, paralysis, and also just that paralysis leads to a defeatist attitude and procrastination.
Okay. And where are you feeling the anxiety and the fear?
Where?
Yes.
Chest gets tightened, body tighten up. Sometimes I feel it in the back of my neck and shoulders as well. And it's
Okay.
almost like I'm bracing myself for a blow.
Okay. What are you afraid of?
Um, Risk, being successful if it
Yeah.
doesn't work.
Okay. And what happens? What's under that? What happens if it doesn't work?
Uh, Doom and gloom. Uh,
Tell me
yeah.
more about that. What's the doom and gloom?
Well, it's lack of adequacy, um, failure.
And
Uh,
what happens if you fail?
well, the funny thing is, I know that to embrace failure leads to success, but it's
Yeah.
something that I quite haven't believed.
Okay. But tell me, if you fail, what are you afraid of?
Uh,
What will
Letting,
happen to you?
well, nothing, but I feel that I would let people down, others down.
Okay. Who would you let down?
Family, people who I want to help, people who may look up to me as an avatar for possibilities as well.
Can you remember the earliest time that you ever felt this way, that you would fail, you would let people down, when you felt this kind of fear, like the youngest age that you were?
I think I too came from an abusive home where all forms of abuse my mother faced. And I believe it was when I first saw my dad hit my mom. And yes,
Okay. Tell me when that experience happened and you felt all that fear. What were you afraid of in that moment?
hmm.
Were you afraid
I
that your mom was going to die or that you might die?
Yes, I was afraid of confronting my father to tell him that it wasn't okay what he did.
Okay. And what were you afraid would happen if you confronted him? How old were you?
Probably about 6 or 7.
Okay. So when we're about 7 or under, could be 8, could be 6, but 7 or under, we are all a sponge. We don't have the ability to discern reality from not reality. Everything is real. You don't, so anything that you pick up when you're 7 or younger, you don't have the ability to control that. You know, one of the things that I did as I was healing, I would look back at things that I believed that my father, for example, had said to me when I was growing up. And I'm like, how could I have been so stupid to have believed that? But I was looking back at it as a 40-year-old, not as a 4-year-old, right? And so I believed things that I was embarrassed about. I'm embarrassed that I would believe that some of the things that he did to my body, that's how dads are. So we can't judge ourselves for that. The other thing that happens though is when these experiences happen when you're 7 or younger, they stick with us. They're embedded. It's kind of like if you take a sponge and there's water on the counter and you soak up the water. We don't have the ability to wring that out. It just stays with us until we actually actively clear it. Does that make sense to everyone? That makes sense?
Yes.
So when you think back to that experience with your mom and dad, was money a part of the discussion? Was money a part of the issue that was going on with them?
Um, in a way, yes, because he was the primary caregiver. I mean, not um,
Provider.
bread. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And yes.
Okay. So not that men have to be the primary providers. A lot of women are, but there's also a cultural belief in our culture and around the world that you have to be the man and you have to stand up and you have to take care of your family, right?
Mhm.
And that's a lot of pressure. That's also a lot of pressure on a 6-year-old. And can you see that in some ways you're responding to money and the effects of the stress the money stress that you have? You're responding in some ways as a 6-year-old. And I'm not putting you down, I'm not criticizing you, but can you understand how that you're responding as a 6-year-old? Do you think I'm
Uh,
right with that?
yes, if I may, there's something interesting that happened, if I may share, after uh, my father struck my mom. She didn't utter a word. The only thing she asked him was, why did he hit her? And then she took me by the hand, took me to her room, locked the door, and made me promise never to hurt or abuse a woman. And so I made that promise, and that's when she allowed help to come and pick her away. So just want to kind of like add that to our discussion, so
Yeah. So when they came and took your mom, did they take you too?
no, I was left behind.
Yeah, okay. So how do you feel about that?
That's the first time anyone have asked that question, and I don't know how. I don't. I just presently just made a promise to my mom because didn't like what happened, and I wanted to honor her by making that promise to her, even though I was 6 or 7.
So feel into your body right now.
Hmm.
What what are you feeling in your body? What are you feeling in the area that's below your heart but above your belly button?
It's it's heavy, almost nauseating, if you will.
Mhm.
And it's just like a new experience because I haven't been on this receiving end before.
Okay.
Because I've always been the one who's telling the story, but not really deconstructing the context.
Okay. I'm not going to let you sit in this, okay? We're going to clear that out, but I want to explain to everyone how you create your reality. And there's a lot of confusion out there about this, and nobody's really telling you the whole story. You've all heard, I'm assuming you've all heard, thoughts create your reality. Who's heard that? Right. Okay, well, that's true, sort of, but it's not the whole picture, and it's a minor piece of the picture. Did you all download the worksheets that I sent to you? Toward the end of those worksheets, let's see, Christine, do you have the worksheets? Could you just pop that in the chat if you don't mind? And so the way that it works, I'll walk you through this, but toward the end of those worksheets, I tell you about the 4 points of power. There are 4 components to your point of power. And if they're all going off in different directions, you don't get what you want. You want to get them all, the four components lined up in a point, like an arrow, like you're going to shoot an arrow. So your point of power comes in, there are 4 of them in 2 pairs. The first pair, thank you, Christine. The first pair, the weaker pair, is the combination of your thoughts and your emotions. Emotions are different than feelings. So obviously we all know what thoughts are, right? Your emotions are in your head. They're not in your body. Think of it like this. If you're driving down the road and all of a sudden somebody cuts you off and you slam on the brakes, and maybe your kid's in the car and you reach your hand over and you start looping in your head, and you've got these thoughts that are going and the feelings in your head, that jerk, and maybe something a little stronger than jerk, and you have that going. Okay, that's 2 components, and that's the first pair. The other 2 components, and there's a diagram in the worksheets if you want to take a look at this, but the other 2 components are the more powerful. They have more energy. That is your feelings, which are in your body, and those are related to your core beliefs. So, James, as you were going through these experiences with your parents at 6 years old, you started developing some core beliefs that aren't serving you. One of those beliefs may be that your mother was taken away for her protection, but you were left behind. This issue with your parents that led to all of this was related to money. Your dad was the primary provider. Your mother was being cared for. Your mother wasn't providing. Tell me if any of this is resonating with you. Your mother wasn't providing, so she was taken away and you were left there. Remember how money stress makes us, according to psychology today, makes you play small, makes you avoid risk. Now, if you're a 6-year-old and there's a battle going on in your home that leads to violence and blood and all that fear that's going on in the moment, that's setting up core beliefs that you have about yourself, about money, about your worthiness for protection, about how you stand up or don't stand up because you're afraid. And by the way, as a 6-year-old, you shouldn't be standing up. That's not your job. It's not your job. But when we look back, I don't know how old you are, but remember I said, I would look back with my 40-year-old self at what I did in the moment as my 4-year-old self, and I would judge that girl who didn't know that her father was lying to her. So you're probably, and I'm speaking to James, but I'm speaking to all of you, think about how this applies to your life. Are you looking back at your younger self and judging you with your older mind, what you did when you were a child? And in those moments when you were developing your core beliefs about yourself, about safety, about money, about the provider, because you're feeling like if you don't provide, you're going to let people down. All of that comes from your 6-year-old self, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So before we move on, do you have any questions? I'm not going to
Uh,
let you see those feelings, but I want to make sure you understand where we've gone.
yes.
All
Yes,
right.
it's resonating.
Okay. So this, by the way, have you taken more than one shower in your life?
Yes.
Have you brushed your teeth more than once?
Yes.
Okay. So my point of that is this is not a one-shot deal. All right. This is a new way of being. And I'm going to teach you some things. And for everyone who stays to the end, I've got a gift that I'm going to give everyone that will help all of you clear this energy. Okay. But we're going to do a little mini one right now with you. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So everyone, if you want to play along, close your eyes, take a nice breath. And as you exhale, let it all drain out of your body, all of the fear, the stress. Take another nice deep breath. And as you exhale, let all of that energy, the nausea, the fear, the frustration, whatever you're feeling, just let it drain down into the earth, out of your body. And above your head, I want you to see with your inner eyes this big stream of liquid gold light. It's not just light, it's liquid. This liquid can get into every little nook and cranny, more than light can. So see that liquid gold light above your head from source, from the cosmic consciousness. See it pouring down through the crown of your head, down into your head, in your eyes, your mouth, your ears, your throat. And it's getting into every nook and cranny, down into your shoulders, down into your heart, and your solar plexus. Just feel it flowing down into your arms and your fingers. And if you know where your sacral chakra is, it's kind of in the middle of your back, between your hips, behind your belly button. That's where our security rests. Our safety, feelings of safety rest. Flood that with that liquid gold light. It's filling every single particle of your being. Down through your hips, your root chakra, your legs, and your feet. Every cell is filled with the liquid gold light. Every strand of DNA, every organ, every single particle, even the particles that we don't have names for yet because they haven't been discovered, filled with this liquid gold light. And see this liquid gold light expanding outside of your body, expanding, filling the room that you're in, filling your bank account, filling your home. Every part of your life is being touched. And now I want you to take a piece of sacred geometry, a pyramid, and place that one over yourself, completely encompassing your body. And now enclosing your life. This sacred piece of geometry, this pyramid, has protective energy. There have even been scientific studies done that shows that it prolongs life, changes cells. So everything is filled with a liquid gold light. Everything is surrounded by the pyramid. And now I want you to take that liquid gold and I want you to surround both of your parents. You may not be in a place, and it's perfectly fine, it's perfectly normal. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't want you to rush this. I don't want you to rush forgiveness, but at the very least, surround them with light. Surround your relationship with each of them individually and with the three of you jointly. Just surround the entire relationships with liquid gold light. Gold is the energetic signature of love, and the liquid permeates everything. Before you come back, just feel the energy that is now radiating in your body. Radiating throughout every part of your body. And I'm going to invite you to come back into the room. So how about that area below your heart? Does it feel any different?
Feels lighter.
Okay. Okay. I'd like you to do this more. And as I said, for everyone who stays to the end, you'll get it's actually about a 30-minute recording. I tuned into all of you today to see what you needed. So I've created this for you. So everyone who stays to the end will get that. And James, I would like you to do that at least once a day, every day for the next 30 days. Okay. And you can do it I'm talking to all of you, you can do it the full 20, I think it's 27 minutes maybe, but in the beginning, there's a little shorty, right? So let's say you've only got 3 or 4 minutes. You can do it quickly in the moment. Like something happens, you get triggered, you can do it in the moment to clear that energy out, right? And so for those of you who haven't gone to, and Janet, we're going to start with you in just a second, but for those of you who haven't gone through the direct experience like James did, you can listen to the recording and do it again for yourself. And James, also, I'm going to recommend to you, go deeper. I first came up with this process, gosh, probably 10 or 15 years ago. And even now, things will come up. Like I've cleared out most of it. But a couple of years ago, I was contemplating some things that weren't going the way I wanted them to go. And so I played this, I call it a game, the What's Under That game. I played this little game and I said, holy smokes, something came up for me in my relationship with my father. And I'm like, I cleared this years ago, but I hadn't cleared that piece of it. I wasn't ready to. Maybe it was too painful or whatever. So for all of you, this isn't a one and done kind of thing. This is like a shower. You can keep doing it. Okay. But the more you bring these up and you don't wallow in them. You don't go back and spend an hour reliving the trauma of that moment, but you let it come up so you can clear it, because we've repressed it. You said this was the first time anyone has ever asked you about your experiences and how you felt. You need to let that out, because the more you suppress something, the more you resist it, the stronger it is. It's kind of like a bar fight. You go in and somebody pushes you and you push back. Well, when you push back, they want to push harder, right? Well, it's